In a forgotten corner of the world, nestled between whispering woods and a sleepy river, lived a woman named Alara. She wasn't known for her craft or her trade, but for a nightly ritual that captivated the stars themselves. Every night, as the moon climbed its silver ladder into the ink-black sky, Alara would step out onto her small porch. She sang to the night sky, believing someone out there was listening. Her voice wasn't trained in grand halls or celebrated on stages. It was a voice born of the earth, carrying the scent of damp soil after rain and the warmth of the morning sun on stone. She sang songs of forgotten lore, melodies of longing, and lullabies for a world that often seemed too loud to sleep. The village folk thought her peculiar. "Who is she singing to?" they'd mutter. "Only the crickets and the owls can hear her." But Alara knew better. Her audience wasn't on Earth. It was far, far away. Her story began with a gift from her grandmother, a small, smooth stone that shimmered with an otherworldly light. "This," her grandmother had whispered, "is a piece of a fallen star. It holds a connection to the sky. When you feel alone, sing to it. The sky will listen." As a child, Alara held the stone and hummed simple tunes. As she grew, her hums turned into words, her words into soaring melodies. The moon, she felt, was her most devoted listener. It would wax and wane, sometimes a brilliant spotlight, other times a shy sliver. But it was always there. One crisp autumn evening, a stranger arrived in the village. He was an astronomer named Kale, a man who had spent his life charting the cosmos, searching for patterns and meaning in the celestial dance. His equipment was modern and complex, a stark contrast to the village's rustic simplicity. He'd come chasing a rumor of a strange, rhythmic energy signature emanating from this remote region, a pulse that defied all known scientific explanation. He set up his telescopes on a hill overlooking Alara's cottage, his mind focused on data and radio waves, completely unaware of the simple, analog source of the mystery. For a week, Kale worked tirelessly. He recorded the faint, melodic pulse that his instruments picked up nightly. It was beautiful, coherent, and utterly baffling. It wasn't a pulsar, nor was it interference from any known satellite. It was a song from the stars. Convinced he was on the brink of a monumental discovery, he presented his preliminary findings to his colleagues via video link. They were skeptical. "It's probably just a new type of stellar radiation," Kale, one said. "You're letting your imagination run wild." Frustrated, Kale decided to investigate the local area. Maybe the source was terrestrial, some unknown natural phenomenon. That night, instead of staring at his screens, he walked down the hill, his audio sensors in hand. As he neared Alara's cottage, the signal grew stronger. Then he heard it, not through his headphones, but with his own ears. A voice, clear and pure, weaving a melody that seemed to make the very air vibrate. He saw her then, a lone figure bathed in moonlight, her face upturned to the sky, singing her heart out. The realization hit him like a physical blow. The cosmic song, the mysterious energy signature he'd traveled hundreds of miles to find, wasn't coming from a distant galaxy. It was coming from her. He felt a wave of disappointment, followed by a surge of sheer wonder. How could this be? He approached cautiously, not wanting to startle her. When her song finished, the silence that followed was profound. "Your voice," Kale began, his voice raspy. "I heard it through my telescope." Alara turned, her eyes reflecting the moonlight. She wasn't surprised. She simply smiled. "I know," she said softly. "You're the one who's been listening." Kale was speechless. He explained his scientific quest, the energy signatures, the search for extraterrestrial communication. Alara listened patiently, holding the shimmering starstone in her hand. "My grandmother told me the sky would listen," she said, showing him the stone. "I just never knew someone would come looking for the echo." For the first time, Kale looked at the sky not as a scientist, but as a listener. He realized that, for all his technology, he had missed the most fundamental connection of all. He had been searching for a song among the stars, while the most beautiful one was right here on Earth, reaching out to them. That night, something changed. When Alara sang, Kale didn't analyze it. He just listened. He felt the longing, the hope, the pure, unshakable belief in her voice. He realized her songs weren't just for a distant, unknown audience. They were for anyone who felt small under the vast expanse of the night, for anyone who had ever looked up and wondered if they were truly alone. The next day, Cale packed his equipment. His colleagues were waiting for his report on the stellar radiation. He knew they wouldn't understand. How could he explain a woman who sang to the moon and a scientist who found the answer he was looking for not in his data, but in a human heart? Before he left, he stood on Ilara's porch. "Will you keep singing?" he asked. "Always," she replied. "The moon is a faithful friend." "And what if," Cale said, a slow smile spreading across his face, "it's not just the moon that's listening? What if your songs are traveling further than you can imagine? Carried on waves we are only just beginning to understand. What if, somewhere out there, someone is listening and singing back?" Ilara looked from Cale's hopeful face to the pale daytime moon, a silent promise in the blue sky. For the first time, she considered that her audience might be bigger than she ever dreamed. Her nightly ritual was not just an act of faith, but a genuine broadcast to the universe. Cale left the village a different man. He didn't abandon his science, but he infused it with a new sense of wonder. He started a new project, not searching for radio waves, but for melody, for art, for the songs the universe might be singing, whether from distant stars or from a small cottage on a quiet hill. And Ilara? She continued to sing. But now, her songs held a new note. A note of confirmation. She was no longer just a woman singing to the moon. She was a voice for Earth, a beacon of hope and melody sent out into the great, silent, listening dark. She sang not just because she believed someone was listening, but because she now knew it. And in her voice, the universe heard its own beautiful, lonely, and hopeful heart singing back to itself. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more tales from the edge of imagination. See you next time.